I've been smoking for about 35 years. I started when I was 16. Well, maybe not started when I was 16 because I wasn't inhaling. I didn't learn how to inhale until a while later, so maybe 17. I just kind of puffed when I was 16. So you mathematicians out there, if I've been smoking for 35 years and I started at 16, get your calculators out, and that's how old I am. But anybody knows that when a female smokes for a long time, it tends to make your voice deeper, okay? If you're a man and it makes your voice deeper, which it does, it's no big deal. Some men might actually like it, that their voice is deeper. Me, not so much. And I had an ex, the father of my kids actually, would tease me about it. And this was 15 years ago. I left him 15 years ago. So my voice wasn't even as deep as it is now. And he would tease me about it and say, "Are you sure you didn't have a sex change? Are you sure you ain't a dude?" And he would joke about it, but I didn't think it was funny. I didn't find it funny. And I actually kind of developed a complex about my voice because of it. Fast forward, years later, after I left him and I moved back to Oklahoma, I was in a drive-thru line and I placed an order. And the guy on the other end of the speaker goes, "Yes, sir, we'll have your order. Pull around, please." And I sat there and I'm like, did he just call me sir? Wow, okay. So I pull around and I'll never forget the look on his face. He was like, "Oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine, really." But those things stick with me. Well, fast forward again, last week, I was calling an auto repair shop about my 97 Dodge Ram to see how much a fuel filter would cost and where it's located in the van. So I could see if it's an easy access, if it's going to cost me a ton of money for labor and all of that. So I called a place here in town and I asked about it. And he goes, "Well, sir, I'm going to need to get your VIN number. We've got to get the exact VIN number so I can tell you where the fuel, the fuel filter is located in that particular vehicle, because they're in different places in different vehicles." But I didn't hear anything past sir. So after he said, "Well, sir," my mind just kind of went into that wonk, 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 Peanuts adult talk. Because my mind was just flipping like, did he just call me sir? So after he got done with the spiel, I go, okay, I'm going to turn up I have this thing where I can make my voice go a little bit higher. It takes some effort to kind of push it up like that. But that's what I did. Just so he would feel stupid. I'm sorry for calling me sir. And it works, after that. But he didn't apologize. He didn't say, "Oh, I am so sorry." He just said, and then, when he did speak to me after that, he made sure he called me ma'am. But it's just kind of a thing with me. I don't know. I know it's stupid, but it's just kind of a thing with me. And every year that goes by, and every year that I keep smoking, it's a little worse. Just a kind of funny little thing to share with you guys. Probably not that you cared, and I wasted 2 minutes of your life. Sorry. That's not what the video is about. I mentioned that because I've been kind of congested. I've had a lot of congestion going on. And so when I'm congested, my voice is even deeper than normal. So, and I'm like super hyper aware of it. But anyway, let's move on. The purpose of the video is, over the course of the 1.5 to 2 years that I've been making videos, I've had people ask me, what channels do I watch? Who do I trust, as far as the truther community goes? And the truth is, I don't really watch a lot of truther videos. I don't watch a lot of truther channels. I'm subscribed to a few here and there, and if something comes along my feed and something piques my interest, then I'll give it a watch. But I don't watch a lot. One of my favorites used to be Brian, but about a year or so ago, it came to everybody's attention that he was selling masks in his store. And he gave kind of a lame excuse for doing so. And he may have stopped, he may have gotten too much, slack for it, and he may not do it anymore. I don't know, and I don't care. I quit watching him a long time ago. There are certain channels that I watch, a handful, and it's a very small handful, that I watch pretty much every video they upload. But for the most part, I just don't watch truther videos or channels. And so when people ask me, I don't usually give them an answer. But there is one channel that I do love, that I watch every upload pretty much when I have time, and that's Casey from EntertheStars. A lot of you may follow Casey. Well, he put a video out the other day, Vampires, Prions, Cold Storage. I don't remember the title. I'll just drop it here where you can see it. And there's an excerpt I want to share from you in that video. And it has nothing to do with the predictive programming that he's showing in this TV series that he's doing here. It is about the truther community, truther channels, jealousy between truther channels, rivalries, pointing fingers, and some things that God shared with him that God put on his heart about how to run his channel. And I have the utmost respect for Casey, so I really wanted to share this. If you've got a channel, thy will be done. Anybody that may be watching me, I don't know if you're still watching me, sister. But those of you that do, that have a channel, it's some good information. And just in general for, truth community as a whole, I think it's some good information that he's sharing here. So I'm going to drop the link to the full live stream. It's about an hour long in the description box. I'm only going to be sharing about 8.5 minutes from that video. So, without further ado, let's roll it.
All know the answer to all of this, and that is the gospel. I think sometimes once you understand and hear the gospel and accept it, like all of us have on this channel, or most of us, then we sometimes forget, right? We get wrapped up in this stuff and we forget that other people need to hear the gospel. And maybe I'm not as good at repeating that over and over again, but I like to provide the proof for people to accept the gospel as well. Not that the gospel needs proof, but people have to experience this world before they even know what the gospel is and how it can help them to get out of this world. If people are living in rose-colored glasses and don't think there's a problem in the world, then they don't need saving, right? And what did Jesus do? He showed people that they needed saving because he showed all the sin in the world. He healed people from the evil reality, all their ailments caused by the world of sin we live in. He showed how insidious sin is by rebuking the Pharisees. So in other words, it was a double message. It was a message of the sin in the world and why you need saving. Because if you don't think you need saving, then how are you going to accept the gospel? So absolutely, the gospel is the only thing that saves you from this reality. So I want to encourage those of you who have not accepted your Lord and Savior to do so. All you have to do is open your Bible and go to the gospel. The internet makes it easy because you could just search gospel and it will tell you all the verses you need to read. All right. So I wanted to set the record straight on that as well. There's a lot of finger pointers in our community right now. It's a little bit unsettling, and I hate to even have to cover, and set the record straight. But when you're out there on other channels and you leave a comment, immediately it's almost like someone's following you around. I left a comment on Brian's channel the other day, and their comment was full of all lies. It was all lies about our channel. And I was like, is that what people think about our channel? They think we're false teachers? Haven't we always told people that Christ is the only way? And there were like 5 other lies that the person said. And I'm like, wow. And people reading that comment are going to believe that until I set the record straight. So I set the record straight in the comment. And of course, the person didn't come back. They said, we taught astrology. We don't teach astrology here. We condemn astrology. You don't live your life by the stars. But it's really easy for people to throw out accusations. And so every once in a while, I have to set the record straight in case there's anybody new that comes to the channel who's out there in the truth community reading comments and they see people slandering our channel. A lot of slandering going on, isn't there? So I want to encourage you guys that, we're going to get through this, and we have to try to maintain a level of integrity on this channel. And I'm not perfect. I've been in my little bouts with people. Notice that hasn't happened very much lately in a long time, because I don't like to get involved in all that does is stir the pot and get the community divided. We're already divided. After this whole letter that shall not be named thing happened, that is when I realized that a lot of this infighting and dissent is manufactured. It's created. And I'm going to say a few words about this before we move on and end the show, because I think this is important to understand that the way that YouTube has set up everything here, it breeds dissent and jealousy and anger. Okay. It's set up to do that. So understand that you have to be careful and not give into this. And I'm talking to other channels out there, because YouTube breeds this. We all get up every single day and we think about is reaching out to you guys and exposing the enemy. And when YouTube starts taking away that ability, starts standing in the way of it, when they start picking and choosing winners and losers with their algos, when they make some of us have to change the way we speak, when they give some people join buttons and others they don't, when they give certain channels check marks and others they don't, it can breed division. It can cause jealousy. And if you don't have the full armor of God and you're not in the right place in your heart and mind, it can cause you to be very angry and jealous. Understand that it has nothing to do with the quality of your channel. It has everything to do about how YouTube has it set up. Some of it's random because they just go after who they can go after, but others are specific. In other words, they pick people who they know can steer the community a certain way that they want it to go, which is division. Why do you think the whole letter that shall not be named community was allowed to take off the way they did on YouTube? They wanted that to happen, to divide the community. And what happened? A lot of people got really angry about that. They're like, how did that channel get 200,000 subscribers in a year or 6 months? And look, a long time ago, I had to check my ego at the door, because we work really hard here, don't we? And I was like, there was a period of time where I was angry a little bit. And I was like, how are all my peers thriving and reaching so many people with their message, and our message isn't getting out there? And then God was like, you know what? You need to stop that. And I was like, okay. He goes, the people that you need to reach are being reached. And it does no good to think that just because someone reached a certain level that they're bad, or just because someone's selling a t-shirt, they're bad. And I let it go. Now, you notice we don't load up this channel with any kind of things anymore. That was another thing a person mentioned. Oh, are you going to start selling meat again? We haven't had meat on this channel in 5 or 6 years. That was organic grass-fed beef to help people to eat healthier, so they have an alternative to still eat meat without buying it in the store where they're doing bad things to animals, right? But when you see that in a comment, it just sounds tacky. So I had to set the record straight. Like, we haven't sold meat in 5 or 6 years. And how much meat did we sell? Almost nothing, because our channel was a lot smaller. You see? So God also rebuked me, and he said, you know what? You need to streamline your channel. You don't need sponsors. You don't need to sell anything on your channel. And it really makes God a little bit uncomfortable when you're selling things on your channel, when you're talking about spiritual things. That's what he told me. Now, I'm not saying that applies to everyone else, but for me, it just gave me a dirty feeling. And I know that some people justify it, and they say, you know what, Casey, you have to make a living too, and you work really hard, but you know what? I don't need it. And that's why when people ask me, why don't you sell t-shirts? No, we did. There was a time when we did, and notice none of that stuff's on here anymore. And God just said, you know what? Be careful what you say. Stay in the ring. Well, that's a bad analogy. Stay on, stay there, because this is what we need. We need you to be out here spreading the message of truth.